Certain characteristic features are typical for the middle of this series of the ribs, and these assign the ribs as typical ones, while those that are lacking a single feature or have got an additional feature are assigned as atypical ribs. Starting talking about the typical ribs, typical ribs has got, each of them has got a head, a neck, and a shaft. Okay, the head of the rib of a typical rib is beveled by the presence of two articular facets. The facets are smooth surfaced areas that are covered in life with hyaline cartilage, and they provide articulation for other bones. These two facets slope away from a dividing ridge in between, and the inferior one is almost vertical. It provides articulation for the superior demifacet on the side of the body, the corresponding vertebra, while the superior one here faces upwards, and this provides articulation for the inferior demifacet on the side of the body of the vertebra above. Okay, each of these two facets makes a single synovial joint with a single cavity, a separate cavity. These two cavities are separated from each other by a ligament that passes to be attached to the ridge on the head of the rib. The head then passes forwards into an expanded portion, and this is the neck. The expanded neck slopes upwards into a sharp upper border, into a thin prominent upper border. This is known as the crest or the cristy colline costi. Okay. At the end of the neck there is a bony prominence. Here is the bony prominence, and this is known as the tubercle of the rib. Each tubercle, each typical rib shows two facets. Okay, and the medial and lateral facet, this is the medial one and this is the lateral one on the tubercle of the rib. The medial one is smooth, is covered in life with hyaline cartilage, and this articulates with the costal facet on the transverse process of the corresponding thoracic vertebra, while the lateral one is rough, and this provides attachment for the lateral costal transverse ligament. From the tubercle, the shaft then slopes downward and forward and laterally into an angle. Okay, this is the angle of the rib, and from the angle, the shaft then curves forward. The shaft has got an upper border that is blunt in outline, as you can see here, while the inferior border is sharp. The inferior border of the rib is sharp, and beyond the angle it's projected downward into a very thin and sharp ridge that houses the subcostal groove. Okay, this is the subcostal groove which lodges the intercostal neurovascular bundle. More anteriorly, this inferior border becomes blunt again like the superior one. The anterior extremity of the rib, as you can see here, is concave. Okay, and this concavity shows cancellous bone into which plugged the costal cartilage of the rib. Okay, that's all for the ribs.